I was just soaking, sprouting, and dehydrating some buckwheat groats. And so I thought I'd do a quick video on how you can do that too. It's super easy. I love buckwheat. It's very inexpensive. I think it's around $2 a pound. I get it in the bulk section. Now the bulk section is kind of prepackaged, but that's where I get it. Super cheap, high protein, good to get some variety in your diet. I use it, make flour out of it, so I will sub it in for anything that needs flour, like cookies, anything. And also make a cereal out of it. Primarily I'll use it in my chia hemp cereal and with whatever else I have around and feel like grinding up or mixing in. But it's really useful, really versatile, has a nice light kind of nutty flavor, and is really good for you. So I'll show you really quickly how I soak, sprout, and dehydrate it. Okay, so I don't have any non-sprouted buckwheat because I did it all already and then had this idea to do this video, but you can kind of see here's some I previously did. If you see any sprouts, ignore those because this is supposed to be pre-sprouted. So this was actually the final stage, but it looks like they're almost little like pyramids, and super easy to grind up and make flour, whatever else you want to use. So what I do is I take the package of groats or bag or whatever they're in. Bob's Red Mill also sells some, and they're gluten-free. They're all gluten-free, but some things are processed in plants that also process things with gluten. So you always want to look for gluten-free if you're buying a prepackaged product. For that reason, even if it's something that never had gluten in it to begin with. So what I do is use a nut milk bag. This is from rawsomecreations.com. You can get them almost any health store or website. And it's just a mesh bag. If you've never seen one before, they're for making nut milk, MYLK, if you're looking for it online. I'm sure you'll find it anyway. But I use them also for soaking and sprouting small seeds. So what you do is you just I use about a third of the bag. I fill a third of the bag up because it is going to expand and increase in volume quite a bit once you soak, and then when it starts sprouting as well. So you want to leave a lot of room for that to happen. So I put the buckwheat in the bottom here. I then tighten the string, and then I'll put it in a large bowl like this. This is such a cute bowl, right? Cost plus. So I'll put it in, and then I will cover it with filtered water, kind of smush it down so it's all in the bottom and all covered with filtered water. Right now I'm using Mountain Valley spring water, which I love so much. It's great water. In case you need any, it's local. So if you're in LA. So I then will just stick it usually on top of my dehydrator, but it doesn't matter. Just put it on the counter overnight. First, I cover it with a tray, a little IKEA bird tray. I cover it with a tray, or depending on whatever you're using, you can cover it with a bowl that already has a cover, or a plate, whatever you want to cover with it, just so flies don't get in and little guys don't try to eat your buckwheat. So then what I do is I will rinse it out a couple times a day. You want to make sure that you rinse it. Usually I take it out and squish it around, make sure it's really well rinsed. It will get really icky and slimy if you don't do that pretty quickly. So you want to make sure you're rinsing it well a couple times a day. And then otherwise you're just leaving it on the counter or wherever you have it. I did this for 3 days, and after 3 days you get some pretty good sprouts. Here's one. This was after 3 days. And for me, that's good. I'm good with that. It also will start kind of growing tendrils through the bag, the root through the bag. So I want to stop it before it gets too crazy. But that's a good amount of growth for me. I like that. So then what you do is you rinse it again one last time, and then I put it on a Teflex sheet on a dehydrator tray. And then I just let it go. 115 for as long as it takes to get it dry, and I'll check it just by kind of feeling through it, feeling to see that it's dry all the way through. And that is really it. And then what I do after that is I take it and I put it in. I have quite a few of these big gallon storage jars in my cupboard lined up with different nuts and seeds that I'll use later during the recipes. These have already obviously been dehydrated. After you dehydrate them, you can store them for long periods of time. If you want to freeze them, same thing. I just like to dehydrate and put them in the jar. I'll use this, within a month anyway. So I like to have a lot on hand. So I have stuff to make whatever recipe sounds good that day, and then I will mix it up into something super yummy. So that's it. So easy, so quick. I love using the nut milk bag because you're not having to use any kind of a sieve or something to try to rinse the seeds, and then you're losing like half the seeds. So if you use the bag, they're all in here. It's compact. It's super easy to water and transport and then put onto your Teflex sheet. And that is soaking, spreading, and dehydrating buckwheat groats. Peace, guys. Thanks for listening.